We've just got to the end of day 20 at the Undercover Police Inquiry, Tranche 3, Phase 1. We've been listening to the live evidence of the siblings of Michael Menson, known as NSS and MWS. I'm joined with Evelyn Lubbers of the Undercover Research Group. Evelyn, what have you made of what we've heard from both of them?
That's a difficult question. It was another very impressive and emotional day. We've heard the story of another family that was let down by the police in all possible ways. They didn't take the death of their sibling serious. They said they would visit him in hospital and didn't even lie about it. He died before he could give a statement. And that was only the beginning. The family was totally sort of demonized in the press, like we heard this morning. They were manipulated. You know, like the first officer that came to their house, he was there when the McPherson inquiry, where the Stephen Lawrence's murder was investigated. It was the inquest, anyway. The police took the liberty to say, well, don't worry, this is not going to be another Stephen Lawrence. It's like sort of that. So they didn't take it seriously at all at no moment in time. They were advised not to talk to the police. And they had they both had a very good analysis of what went on. It was just the Metropolitan Police trying to protect their own image, their reputation. They couldn't have another death of a black youth in a police station while the Stephen Lawrence inquest was going on. It was all about reputation, and they were so. Again and again, these families know so very well. You know, like the sister said that she now felt guilty not have gone to the Stephen Lawrence inquiry because she did not want to be linked their campaign to be linked with anything political. And now, in hindsight, you know, she sees that she's been manipulated all the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely heartbreaking story, and the layers to which, I mean, particularly Detective Inspector Scott, the officer who led the investigation. I mean, repeatedly lying to the family, misleading the press. Found to be racist by the Police Complaints Authority many years ago. And I mean, even after that, though, even after there was that initial report, kind of showing the failings, the police doubled down. And we saw that one of these reports referred to the family as hostile, that they were, that they were willfully lying, misrepresenting things. And it was decided, because the family was hostile, that a special branch check was needed to see if they were actually involved in any form of political extremism. And this really is what sort of kick-started the SDS looking into the family. We saw, we've seen before, but we were shown again those reports which mentioned, in the context of left-wing involvement in the Stephen Lawrence inquiry, about the Justice for Michael Menson campaign. There were a lot of questions asked of them about outside influence, again, as we've seen for so many of these family justice campaigns. The role of Suresh Grover and the monitoring group questioned as if this was some sort of,
a bridge to radicalized people,
right,
or whatever. And it's like they either cry, shout, or break down because of all these questions. We just wanted justice. We just wanted justice. There was nothing else that we wanted, and we wanted to be treated like human beings. And the sister at some point said, I've had a lot of therapy to give this a place, all of these things, and to protect myself, because I still want to believe in good things, in the good of people. And I can, well, for any one of us, this is a difficult task, but for families like this, it's almost impossible not to become very bitter. And But they both did a sort of a great finishing speech, final speech. Like, well, how can we believe the police is going to change? How many apologies do we need to get? Oh, about apologies. There was this like
Oh, God, the apology. Jeez.
incredible. So what was brought up was like an apologetic, not an apology, an apologetic letter from the Metropolitan Police that this family received at the 31st of October. So in fact, just before they were
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago when they were preparing to give evidence, and it turned out that Sugdev Real, who gave evidence yesterday, had received exactly the same letter. They put them up side by side. It was just a copy paste job, and they repeated that copy paste thing that is so insulting. Like what like it's too early to apologize because like in the middle of the inquiry, we don't know what the fact finding will lead to. But still, they do. It's a manipulating thing. It's an insulting thing. It's like it shows you that they don't learn. They just don't learn.
Yeah, I mean, it really is appalling. I mean, this letter, this copy paste job, as Michael Menson's sister referred to it, you say it was really insulting. Why now? What is the point of it? What are they trying to do by issuing this letter right now? It's quite crazy. I think like there's been so many layers of police abuse of this family. We saw, look, going back, we were shown the video after the inquest into Michael's death, which showed a ruling of, it came to a verdict of unlawful killing. We were shown a Channel 4 interview with Michael's sister and her lawyer, Mike Schwartz, a very young Mike Schwartz, actually.
It's cute.
Along with, okay,
can't say that, sorry.
Along with Mike Bennett from the Police Federation, a long-time spokesman of the Police Federation, regular watchers of police appearances on British television will be familiar with Mike Bennett, and he gave what can only be described as a breathtakingly offensive interview where he accused the family of intimidating the coroner. Claimed that the coroner's decision, the coroner's court had stinks. Said that the verdict was wrong. I mean, essentially, absolute nonsense. Mike Schwartz, clearly took apart what he was saying, pointed out he hadn't even been at the inquest. And this was just a hallmark, really, of how even when the family made some headway, when there were decisions made in their favor, if you like, that the police just weren't accepting it. I mean, after that inquest, the police attitude towards the family didn't change at all. And this kind of constant
and that
backtracking
was really so insulting. Like
incredibly.
He just like the interview really had to sort of stop him because he just when Mark Schwartz said something, he just talked over him. He wouldn't stop talking, and he was insulting him. And it's like it's just not what he said when he was allowed to say something. He just wanted. He was like a bully, really. It's really terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that these sort of things, the way that the police, after there's been some decision which kind of, if you like, goes in the family's favor in some way, that anything that happens that's like is a sign that there's some sort of headway being made. The attitude of the police, the behavior of the police, after that inquest, the attitudes of the police to the family didn't change at all. This kind of has happened so many times to the family that even now at this inquiry, the fact that supposedly this is supposedly looking into the truth, the family understandably aren't convinced by that because they've been here before. They've been in situations where, like they said so many times, they meet with police who would say, well, don't worry, we're the professionals now. Unlike previous people you've dealt with, we're going to take it seriously. And that just didn't happen. So unsurprisingly, they were very unsure about appearing at this inquiry. They nearly didn't, but they said they felt they had a moral imperative that they had to. And I think Michael Menson's brother very clearly kind of stated that, the way in which this spying took place, the way that it was approved, how far it went up the chain, that this sort of spying is just going to become day to day for any grieving family who's seeking justice, unless there is some change put into it. But there's no checks and balances. I mean, if anything, there's less checks and balances now than there was back then. That that they actually that. There's nothing to suggest this sort of thing wouldn't happen again today. In fact, it's almost more likely to, and that really, Michael Menson's sister said, we're putting our faith in you, to the chair, John Mitting, to actually do something about this, to shine a light and find for the truth and hopefully change things in some way. His response to that, I think, was,
quite different than yesterday.
Well, really. I would say it was different to yesterday, but it was also very different to this morning, particularly this morning. His reaction, we've spoken today in these lives about how he reacted this morning, but his reaction at the end of today, I think, was really quite odd. He talked about shared humanity, something which
he took a lead from the sister speech, basically, which sounded very honest and fair, and then sort of copied by him. it was like really weird, where we heard several times, like this morning and with Sukdev yesterday, like, don't put your hopes up too high. I can't promise you that we'll find justice. So much is going to happen, and maybe the Spike Ups involved, did some good work as well. This is a very rough summary. And today he became almost philosophical, like, that's good in every person, and that's what we all want. In the end, we're all good, and that's, like, it was.
Yeah, what I was going to say was, I think that, like, what was particularly odd about it was, we can't solve everything in the world, which he's not being asked. He's genuinely not being asked to solve anything in the world.
Yeah.
And this really goes to the madness of Sir John Mitting in the way that he responds at the end of these hearings, where he makes these big generalized claims. He's not being asked to solve any problems in the world. He's not. We know he's only human. He's got a very tight terms of reference, where he's being asked to fulfill his terms of reference. And
not even.
I find it very strange that he's, it's odd. It's just odd, and it.
And he surprised himself in a way, I think, because he forgot to say this brings the end of today's proceedings, and it's now the end of the, 150th week of the inquiry, and see you all back on Monday. He forgot his automatic copy paste sentences, so it was really weird. Maybe, I don't know. Let's not speculate. Let's just wait for next week, when Peter Francis will finally appear.
Yeah, so that's the end of this week's hearings. We will be back again on Monday, 10 a.m., where we'll be hearing from the former undercover police officer HN 43, Peter Francis, who used the cover name Peter Johnson, Peter Daly, and Peter Black. He is the only member of the SDS who has become a whistleblower. Back in 2010, 15 years ago now, in an interview with The Observer. It promises to be one of the more interesting weeks of evidence we've had at the inquiry. There's a great deal that Francis has said. There's a great deal he said that he can't say until he is on the stand at the inquiry. So we are hoping that he uses the opportunity that he can't be prosecuted for anything that he does say whilst giving evidence to the inquiry, that allows him to give a full and frank expose of both his own deployment and the activities of the unit throughout his time within them. It should be interesting. We'll be covering it in full. He will be broadcast with the usual 10-minute delay, but we will be able to see him. You will be able to hear him. I really recommend, if you are able to come down, there'll be plenty of space in the public gallery. Please do if you can. If not, tune in. We'll be doing these reaction videos. I'm aware that in the breaks, when we do these reaction videos, they often start before the main feed from the actual hearing has ended. That's because it's a short break. They're 10 minutes behind. We haven't got very long to do them. This morning, a lot of the videos have been very short. I'm not sure what to do about that, really. I'm going to continue to do it in the same way, I'm afraid. Thanks for everybody who's watching live. And I'm using StreamYard now to broadcast live on 5 different platforms. If you do comment, we get to see the comments. The majority of the comments we get are on YouTube, and they're just people who don't understand what the hell's going on. so I generally ignore them. But if anybody has got any questions, please put them there. We will put them on screen and react to them in whatever way. I'll be doing a Twitter Spaces tonight, an audio version. I'll also this evening be appearing on the Under the Pavement radio show in Manchester, which if you're in the Manchester area, you can tune into. I believe it's also you can listen live on Mixcloud or something. I'm not entirely sure. Tomorrow, both myself and Evelyn, along with Chris Bryan from the Undercover Research Group, will be appearing. Where are we doing the talk?
Southbank University.
Southbank
University, near Elephant and Castle.
Yeah, 3:00 tomorrow. It's the launch of the spycopsresearch.info website, and along with a book,
which I forgot the title
of. Okay,
that's really bad.
Anyway, come along if you can. Yeah. Kate Wilson's currently on tour, the Disclosure Book Tour. If you're able to attend any of those, I really recommend that you do. It's the National Palestine protest demonstration on Saturday. I'll be marching. I hope that you are as well. The genocide hasn't ended. Thanks for joining. We'll see you all again on Monday.
Okay, bye.